Hello everybody, welcome back to the Yotso Tech Tracks YouTube channel. It's another nice day, so I thought I'd take a couple of minutes to show you guys underneath this truck regarding the bracket I made to reinforce this tubular running board, step bar, whatever you want to call it. This is the second set I have on this vehicle. The first one was made by Weston, the same as the front winch cradle and winch mount I have in the front of this truck. It was identical to this one, minus the branding. Basically, it's a 3.5 to 4 inches in diameter stainless steel tube, and it mounts in two locations, one in the front and one in the back. One thing I modified on this design is to have a triangulated bracket in the back to make it significantly stronger than the original factory design. What happened to the first one, the Weston one, this truck got hit on the side by somebody and it crunched this tubular step like a toothpick, basically, because this is not a structural part. This is basically just to be able to get up into the vehicle, and it'll take the weight. I believe it's rated for 300 pounds per side, so even the largest person can easily step on this and it will not buckle, break, or bend. Let me take you underneath it and show you what I did to make it a little bit stronger. If you guys remember from previous videos, in the winter time I ran through a lot of little details about this truck, what I've done already. However, it was very difficult to get underneath it because it was basically super cold and wet and snowing and icy where I live, so it's not an option to get underneath it too easily. Right now it's springtime, the snow has melted, so let's look at a couple of things in detail. This giant bracket here that I made basically mimics the design that this company has in the front of the truck. Excuse me. Basically, this bracket bolts to the side of the cab structure from inside. It's got big, strong, beefy brackets. They're all webbed and reinforced and triangulated. However, in the front, the company did actually make an additional support from the base of this bar all the way to the cab mount. Basically, you remove this cab mount bolt that goes right here, and you basically put this bracket on, bolt everything together, and still the cab is isolated from the body. So this bar, along with this bracket and this triangulation bracket, it moves freely with the cab without having to disturb the frame. So the cab can move very freely with rubber isolated mounts. However, in the back, the Weston bar as well as this Smitty build bar have the same design, where they've gone through the trouble of making these big heavy-duty brackets that bolt to the side of the underside of the cab. However, there's no triangulation, and I thought about that, and why couldn't there one be? Because when you triangulate something like this into a larger area, you're basically gonna move all the load into multiple locations. And the same design as in the front, where I didn't want to mount this one to the frame of the truck because the cab has to move freely from the frame. The bed of the truck, like most of these full-size pickup trucks or even any other design of pickup trucks, are solidly mounted to the frame. However, the cabs are rubber isolated with these mounts, so the cab does move freely from the frame of the truck, which is why you get a very nice ride in these kind of vehicles. Any kind of a full-size SUV with this design, you have sometimes hydraulically filled mounts, sometimes rubber mounts, and those take those little tiny shimmies out of the driving experience. So the driving experience is very smooth, and I wanted to maintain that. Also, if I were to paste this triangulation bracket to the frame, it would put a lot of stress into these bolts. It would want to loosen it up because you do have quite a bit of movements in the body between the frame because of these rubber mounts. So this design allows me to maintain that original design, just like in the front, where the body and the frame can move freely and there's no noise, vibration, or harshness transmitted into the cab from the frame. And this gives this design a very strong support that the front has, and I'm not sure why the rear didn't. It doesn't take a lot of engineering or material. As you can see, this plate I made from a 3/16 inch plate of aluminum. It is about, I'd say, 3 inches wide and maybe let's say 16 to 18 inches long. I bent it in two locations until the angle was correct, and I bolted everything together, and this thing is solid as a rock. Once again, this is just a little short review about my little upgrade bracket for this bar. It might work for any other person in this situation if you want to make it a little bit more sturdy, a little bit stronger. I have noticed that before I've got my father to jump up on this onto this back part without this triangulation bracket, there was a little bit of movement between this bracket and the cab. Well, you can expect that because the leverage that you put on this bar with no support, it is going to try to move it, and I wasn't really happy with that. So with this triangulation bracket, you can jump up and down in this. There is some vibration in this bar, of course, but this bracket to the cab and the bracket to the frame, there is no movement at all. I'm pretty happy with it, and it's made of, I believe, 6061 T6. It's a tempered aluminum, so it is very strong, very sturdy, corrosion resistant, and it should last the life of the truck, perhaps even everything else under here that's made of steel. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this gives you guys an insight into something that you might be able to do to strengthen some of these designs, because you can always make something better, stronger, and a little bit unique, a little bit different for your application. So thanks, guys, for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Let me know any comments, any questions I might be able to answer. I'll be happy to do so. So thanks again for watching. This is Yotso from the Yotso Tech Tracks YouTube channel. Take care and good night.